Okay, I guess we were up until about 10:30 last night finishing up on this thing. And as you can see, Austin's not real big on cleanup, which is why the GTO is sitting outside with the car cover on. So just walking up, just kind of showing you the carnage. There's our old bracket for the alternator, and there's the new advanced auto alternator that didn't charge for flip. Timing chain and gears, and then assorted wrenches and parts just everywhere. That's nice. So we ended up having to put that connector on because we needed the longer wires. I didn't realize that. The way this alternator's clocked, the original wiring harness, was the reason we had to replace the old connector plug, which is laying right here. And that's just the regulator. And the dirty wire in the middle is actually the white wire. And I guess what they did at the factory, they wrapped it up in tape. But in reality, this wire sticking out here, which was part of the 3 wires on the main feeds, which you see that we left the 2 feeds on there. We just put ring terminals on. And then Austin has this huge cable running off of this and routed down, following the factory routing in front of the radiator, and then coming out under the box over here. And it's a 130 amp alternator. It's recommended but not required, but it's nice to take the load off of those original wires. And I don't know why Ford ran 2 power wires off. There must be a shunt in the harness somewhere or something. Not quite sure. I've never seen that before on any other cars that I've owned. But anyway, I think that's a 4-gauge cable. It's massive. So I think we're set up to we can probably power this garage if we have a power outage with this thing now. So anyway, everything's all back together. Everything looks neat and tidy. We're happy with the way it went back together. And when Austin wakes up, which will probably be around noon, we'll fill the radiator up with fluids. I think we'll go ahead and change on the oil. I did end up having to take a funnel last night before we put the timing chain cover on. Actually, that was yesterday afternoon. And I stuck it down in the snout of the oil pan and flushed it out with a little mineral spirits with the front drain plug off, just to make sure any little pieces of gasket material or crud that may have got in there when we cleaned it, the rag didn't catch everything. That way we're not soaking anything up or getting anything stuck in the sump screen on the oil pump pickup. And we'll go ahead and just change in the oil, because I think I did kind of overfill it. I think some of the mineral spirits probably spilled over into the rear part of the pan as well. But everything looks really good. One thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna go get some 3M, correct harness tape, not the electrical tape stuff. And I'm gonna wrap this harness up. You see I did a nice neat job. We basically just soldered the wires together, shrink wrapped them. Did the same thing on the stator plug wire, which is right here, which replaced the stator plug wire here and here. So there's no power that runs through these. It's just a wire. It's just basically loop down and comes back up. That's all it does. And we should be good to go on this. So we'll get this thing topped off with fluids and fire it up later on today. It looks like that Ford 5.0 plaque is an excellent place to lay my coffee cup. And I am exhausted. I didn't get to sleep until after midnight. Brutal. We just wanted to get it done. And so we basically got it back together in one day, one really long day, like a 12-hour day. But anyway, looks good. I'm happy with it, and I think we just gave this thing a new lease on life. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. We're going to show you what we went through to get it looking like this. All right, the timing chain and gear set we're going to use is a Cloy's True Roller, double roller timing chain and gear. And I think that's a powdered metal iron crankshaft sprocket, and then I think the camshaft sprocket is It might be forged, I'm not sure. It looks cast. It says FE31, E3AE, A3A. Date of manufacturer, maybe? That's nice. Okay, sure. Looks good to me. Okay. Yeah, I think that's an upgrade over the stock piece. That looks good. Yeah, definitely an upgrade over the stocker. We'll take a look at the part numbers when we get it out, but I think the it almost looks like the factory set that's in it was a Cloy's. It probably was just a Cloy's double roller. Of course, this is going back to 1989, so who knows, right? Well, when we get it out, we'll compare the two. Not sure where I went wrong, but the the dots definitely don't line up. The other dot's way up here at the top, and of course, you know, they should both be, you know, at the bottom, pointing at each other. So obviously my top dead center thing is way off. So we're just going to turn it over by hand and get those lined up before we pull this gear off. Okay, slow down. A little slower. Okay, stop right there. All right, we're getting pretty close. I think we want to go over just a little bit. I know these aren't going to line up perfectly because there's some slack on the chain. But yeah, just get that lower mark just pointing up just a little. It's just a little off center. You just need to just bump it just a tad.
That's probably it.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yep, pretty darn close. We'll go with that. And you can see, you know, obviously we'll get a straight edge out, but you can see that the timing marks are not going to line up perfectly because there's slack on the chain, right? There's slack on one side, and this side's going to be tight. So, yeah, what do you expect for 240,000 miles, though, right? Not too shabby. Okay, that was easily fixed. Just coming in here, we're just going to back this off with the air tool so we don't disturb this too much. At least hope we don't. Start walking it off. Gonna have to grab the upper and lower at the same time. Yep, there you go. And if I get stuck on that sealer stuff a little bit, just go ahead and you can walk it. There you go. We'll get the gear off. Sometimes they'll pull off, sometimes you gotta. Yep, that just came right off. Piece of cake. Okay. All right. Hey, just a quick comparo. There's our new gear, E3AE-A3A FE31. And look at this. The stock gear, E3AE-A3A. And it's also kind of hard to read, it's a little dirty, but also FE3-1. So, was Cloy's actually the OEM for this, or do they just list the OEM number? That's kind of weird. I'm guessing it's the same gears, and this one's indexed in 3 different spots. So we'll have to look at. I'm not sure why they did that. We'll figure that part out. Not a huge deal. And it looks like the chain's an upgrade. This looks like this is a true roller. Or this is just, I guess that would be considered a double roller. Almost like number 35 go-kart chain or something. But I think these are a little hardier. They're probably a little less prone to stretch. So definitely an upgrade over the Stalker. But it looks like they used the same gears. I bet the old chain would actually fit on these. Maybe not. Am I wrong on that? Oh, they're just not lined up. Okay, so same casting, but it definitely doesn't fit. Okay, sure. All right. Weird, they're the same part number though, so I guess the spacing on the teeth is different maybe. I'm not sure why that doesn't fit. But okay. Okay, we're ready to put it in. The other thing we decided, we're going to go with the 0 mark, because that's supposed to be for factory specified timing. We're not going to advance or retard. And it looks like we got the locating tang on the camshaft pointing straight down, and then we got the keyway on the crankshaft pointing straight up to that. So that should make that pretty easy to get that on. We'll see how we do here. Yep, just line the 2 teeth up first and then take the slack out. There we go, I think I got it. Pretty close. Yep, we get the tang to line up. I think we did. Yep. Okay, cool. And the marks line up. Sure. All right, cool. And that's nice and tight. Yep. Awesome. Did it click? There we go.
Did it?
We'll check it again.
Ready?
Yep. There we go. Finally. Cool. All right. She's in. We're just using a screwdriver about the same diameter as the hole of a blade screwdriver. We're trying to get all the crud out of these holes around the water pump outlets. They were so bad that, you know, when we took it apart before, I felt like we were going to wring the fasteners off. We just want to get them clean enough so that the fasteners will pass through. And just grab any of these. These are the same diameter, but not the right length, right? I think it's one of these over here. This should just drop through now. Yep, there we go. What a mess. Okay, we're going to use a Felpro TCS 45449, and that is the timing cover set. All right, let's see what they give us. Okay, in the bag we got the timing chain cover to oil pan seal. We've got the 2 ends. They're going to replace the ends we cut off. And then of course we've got the new balancer seal. We're going to have to hammer that in first. And then it looks like they give us sure. We've got this one and this one. Okay, so we know where that goes. That goes up against the block like that. And it looks like they give us, I guess the one for, they actually give us, I guess they give us the, I guess they're doing it like if you were replacing the seal, inner seal on the water pump, I guess. Let me see how many of these we got. We got this one. Sure. And then we got this one, which is going to go probably inside the water pump. So I guess we can, unless there's two different ones, I'm thinking they're giving us one. They're actually giving us one for inside the water pump. I'm just curious if we actually, if they give us the one to replace this one. I guess we'll find out. Actually, since they gave us, this is the one they give us with the new water pump, which we're not going to use this one. So just as a go-by, don't need that. Okay. So I guess the idea is this one goes like that. Sure. And then they gave us one. That's the Felpro one. Right? I don't know why it doesn't look like it lines up. We're doing something wrong. Nope, okay. So those are the same. And then we've got, obviously that one goes behind. I'm not sure why we have these two. I'm not a small block Ford guy, but we'll figure that part out. It almost looks like they're giving us one to go inside the water pump as well. Maybe, maybe not. Could be wrong on that. All right, we'll figure it out. We're just going to lay a bead around this harmonic balancer seal before we hammer it in. This is a little insurance against leaks. All right, we just got a nice light coat all the way around. We got it set fairly square in the bore. And then we're just going to come in and hammer it in. We don't have a socket big enough, so we're just going to use a 2x4. I'm just going to come in and just square this up a little bit. It's a little high on one side. There we go. I think I got that. Still a little off, isn't it? Let me try squaring that up just a little more. Oh, maybe not. There we go. That got it. We'll try using a block of wood just so we don't beat it up too bad. You see we got it supported with a 2x4 here so we don't crack the delicate aluminum timing chain cover, and that's just about got it. We got one spot over here that's a little high. Sounds like it bottomed out. We're right there. Yep, we'll take a look all the way around. Looks like we got it drove in pretty good. And just rolling it around. You can see there's not a lot of sealer that's smooshed out. You can see a little bit right there. And again, just having it all squeezed in between there is just a little bit of extra insurance so we don't have a leak, because this cover obviously is less than perfect, right? Because this is the second seal that it's had driven in since the factory, so this would be the third one. And I can just looking around here, I can see it's up just a little high right there, which really isn't going to hurt anything, but I might go in and just tap on it just a little bit more. We'll just go around and just seat it just a little more. Okay, there we go. Now you can see how it's smoothed out. That's in. Yep, that looks good. Okay, cool. Okay, we've got the little timing chain cover oil pan, little end pieces, the little cork that's going to replace where we had to cut off on the oil pan. The only thing is they're trimmed to fit. So obviously I'm going to have to trim this flush with the timing chain cover. so we don't have any problems when we stuff it in the car. I'm just gonna have to find a way to do this without cutting my fingers. I'm just gonna come in and just drag this. I'll score it first. I'll come in on this side. If it will allow me. That's really hard to do. I'm trying to do this without cutting myself. There's got to be a better way to do this. Sure. This is rocking around a little bit. We probably want to come in and just chew that up a little more. We'll come in and chew that up just a little more. We basically want that flush, and then we're going to put a a big bead of sealer where the oil pan meets the block, and that's going to be our seal right there. Seal that joint. We're going to put a little high tack on the gaskets to try to keep them in place, just on the cork. And we're just doing it on one side. This is just so they don't move around on us. I'm going to let that set just for a minute, and that's going to go. God, I hope I didn't paint that on the wrong side. No, I didn't. That'd suck. We're going to put that on just like that. We'll let that set for just a couple of minutes, and we'll come in and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Yep, that's the side we want to paint. Yep, we'll just put a little glue on it. And again, the only reason we're doing this is we know when we go to rock this cover into place, those gaskets down there are going to try to wiggle off. So we're just going to try to prevent that if at all possible. And we're going to let the other side of the core gasket pretty much do the sealing. We're not going to put any sealer on it, other than we're going to put a bead in the corners where all the pieces made up. Because that's where they're going to leak. They're going to leak at the joints. All right. We'll let those sit for a couple minutes, and then we'll just press them in place, and we'll use the fasteners to line them up for now, and then we'll move on to the other stuff. All right, that's been sitting long enough. We're going to set that in place. Okay, that's good. We can just mash it on there. Yep. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Yep, that's good. And that'll be setting for a good while before we get the rest of it in, so that should be glued on pretty good. We'll take the screws out. Yep, that looks good. That looks real good. Yep, that'll stay in place. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. It looks like it might be easier just to lay a coat of the high tack right on the timing chain cover trough where that piece of rubber is going to go. And I think we'll also put a little blob of silicone right in the corners there where it's going to meet. And we're using Permatex Ultra Black, so it has, I think, a lot longer working time than the Honda Bond stuff we used the other day. It's not going to be quite as time sensitive, but we still kind of have to hustle a little bit. I come in I'm just going to put a little blob right here. Just like that. We'll put a blob right here. Smooth a little in there too. It's not going to hurt anything. All right. Then we'll press that seal down in there. Let's take this in. Start here. Work our way around. Just like that. It's going right in. Yep, that looks good. Come around. Push this down as well. Smooths it down. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's a little twisty looking, but as long as it doesn't fall out when this lays on the pan and we start crimping down on it, it's going to mash into place. The main thing is I wanted to get the fall down in here, which I couldn't do with the fasteners in the way. And you see the high tack, this hasn't moved around. It's staying. That's just fine. That looks good. All right, we're going to have to hustle. All right, we'll move on to the other stuff. Hey, not a terrible idea. I just put a skim coat on the part that's going to seal the steel plate against the pump, just for a little added measure of leak protection. Let's see if I got this right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that's right. And I think we're going to put a little. We'll put a little on the other side as well. We'll just put just a little smooth around here. It can't hurt. And just the lightest coat around the outer edges. Just a little bit of leak insurance. All right, we'll just tighten up these two lower bolts here, and then we'll get the Velcro gasket ready, and we'll clamp this down to the timing chain cover, and then we'll get this ready to stuff in the car. All right, we're just going to put a little sealer around the outlets. This is where they have a tendency to leak. I'll put some here too, but really this is where you need the sealer. Go around the holes. Sure. Okay. That's pretty good. And I'm just going to just smooth it around a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a super thick layer. We can go up here a little bit. There's really no sealing that needs to take place here. The sealing takes place inside the water pump plate. Okay, that's fine. Almost too much. Smooth it out of the way. That's fine. Then we want to take this, lay it in place, just like that. That'll be fine. You know, again, there's nothing in here circulating because the pump is sealed from the other side. The only thing we want to do is keep the fluids from coming out around the outlets. And actually, I can probably just go ahead and just jam it on right here. Probably help if I did it like this as I go, right? Make it a little easier. Try to go around all the bolt holes. Let's hit this one over here. We got it. Yeah, the way these things sandwich together, you almost need to replace the timing chain cover gasket when you reduce all the torque to get the water pump off, because the gasket on the other side is also going to leak because it's a pass-through for the water outlet as well. So we got a nice liberal coat on there. That's fine. Well, that's probably good enough to just set the pump on. And we only got 3 fasteners here to hold the pump in place. I think it's this one, And then I think did I already managed to misplace the other one? I think it's this one right here. Unless I moved it. We got 3 that thread into the aluminum. These 3 right here. Just grab a pump. And again, the only thing we're wanting to do is seal around this plate here and here, and I've already stuffed a little bit in between the halves. We'll just set that in place. We'll use the, these got to come back out before we put it on the car, but we'll use these to line it up. I think we got one. This is actually one of our pass-throughs. Yeah, and then I think, is it this one? Yeah. We'll use that to line up. Okay, got that one. That one. Okay. That move on me? Nope, we're good. We want to get these in. Yep. Got one here. It was this way, right? Yep. Nope. Wrong again. There we go. That's lined up. Good. If I'm not mistaken, I think this one goes here. Yep. Those are the 3. I think we got one here. Oh. Yep, there we go. 5/8 on those. Oh no, what am I doing? I'm doing these right here. There we go. Gonna snap those in place. We're not gonna torque them down, we're just gonna get them snug. Okay. All right, we're just about ready to stuff this thing in. Okay. Okay, we're getting close. Got everything together. Just gonna get the balancer on, AC bracket. Of course, you know we've got our new alternator bracket on. We'll get that wired up as well. We just got to put on a couple of connectors. We can wire in our 130 amp alternator as well. Still got quite a bit more to go before it'll actually run, but the really hard stuff is done.
Well, now I'm staring at a shadow.
Yep. Just going in and trying to tighten up that annoying radiator hose. You have to go in between the compressor and the power steering pump. It's a bitch.
Well, I also can't see because it's shadowing it.
There we go. Show them where you're going. Go up a little higher. A little higher. A little higher. Alright, we're just going to put a little bit of sealer on the inside of the balancer. Just as a little bit of insurance against leaks. I like to just smear a little in here. Oops. Then I cover the keyway with it a little bit. And this will slide right on. And we'll put just a little bit of motor oil on it. On the outside of the seal lip. Just grab the wire. I did put a little grease on the inside of that seal lip. Just as an added measure of protection. We're just going to just put a little bit of oil because that'll get into the lines we put on with the sandpaper. So even though this is going to get squeegeed off, there'll still be a little bit of oil left on there. And we've got our balancer installer. That's nice. Just like that. We'll go ahead and we'll get this. We're just going to gently tap it in place. That's going all the way down in there. Moses. Where's the keyway? Right there. That's nice. Okay. The keyway's pointing straight up. Okay. Sure. Well, you guys can see me getting in there. Okay. It's on. I'm just going to just snug it in a little bit. That's fine. I know it's on there. And we'll get the balancer installer in there. We'll get that pressed on.
Okay, we're going to come in and tighten this down. I actually took a couple of axle nuts from front wheel drive stuff from the Honda that I had left over for shims, because this nut has to be out far enough for me to be able to turn it. And actually, getting back to that, I'm going to have to get a huge adjustable wrench, because I actually don't have one big enough to turn it. Let's see, is that big enough? Nope. This one probably is. Oh yeah. We'll use this. Yep, that'll come in there. And then I'll hold this with a wrench here, like this, and then I should be able to easily press this on. Hey, what I ended up doing with this kit that I rented from O'Reilly's, you have to have access to this big hex nut, and obviously coming down in here, when you go down in there, when you tighten this nut up, you're not going to be able to get in there. So what I did is I used a couple of axle nuts left over from the Odyssey, and those were my spacers. Easy peasy. Man, this thing's huge. Oh yeah, it'll go. There's plenty of room. All right, now we got something to power the house with after a tornado. You mean to lift this out of the way while you do that? Let me hold the hose out of the way.
Well, I can't see from right here.
You're doing that. You want me to grab the hose?
Yeah.
Here we go. Sometimes those bushings they press in there, they're stuck in too far. Sometimes you gotta hammer them out of the way. That might be the problem you're having. Oh, no, it looks like it's gonna slide in. Moses, that's tight. Yep, it's going. There you go. It slid right in. We're good. Now you just gotta put in a couple of nuts, and we can put on the pulley on the end of the water pump snout, put our serpentine belt on, so we can get our fan on, so we can tighten up all the nuts. I think we're good. Cool. Yeah, those are always fun to get them to line up. Lift up on the bottom and rock it. Tell you what, I'll rock it while you do that. A lot of times that's all it takes to get it to just wiggle it around, get it to slide in. Yep, it's going. Yep, there you go. Yeah, that one went in easy. Sure. All right. That looks wicked. So I'm gonna get that other one going in a little bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. Yep, make your right for it. Yeah, it sure cleaned up nice, didn't it? Yeah, it's going in. Just making you work for it. You catch the aluminum already?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Cool. Yeah, it just threads in to the back of the alternator. Although it's hard to see. Right below the southern nut. Right down there. Oh, I can feel it coming out. 9/16 on the back as well. Yeah. Sure. There we go. Right on.
It's probably good.
Oh yeah. Kind of goofy. The kit comes with a new regulator plug. It doesn't really need it. And then of course what's kind of weird is this this one white wire comes down into the harness, and then they just loop it back around and send it back the other way. And the white wire came out and connected in on the other plug on the older alternator. So we're just going to reuse that white wire. We're just going to jump off of that and put the new stator plug in there, and then we'll put the old regulator plug down there. I don't know if I can find it right in there. And that'll be fine. I think, where's the stator plug? Yep, that one's got like a little tiny plug. So we'll just get that wired up, plug that in, and this thing will actually probably be ready to start up and drive tomorrow. Cool. Sure. All right, we're on our way. This one over here, lined up. This one's not lined up. Okay. Let me reach down in here. You got one down here that's not. There we go. That should go underneath now. Yep. Easy peasy. Everything looks lined up. Yep. That's lined up. Everything's on. Yep. We're good. Okay. Now you can tighten up the rest of the bolts on the pulley there. Right on. Okay, we're getting close.
That's enough.
Oh yeah. She's full. Yeah. It's going to suck it down a lot when the thermostat first opens, but yeah, good enough. Charging? Sure is. That's a good sign. Sure. Okay.
It's idling really good.
Yeah, not bad for as long as it was apart, right? I love when that happens. Yep, everything looks good. Good deal. Yeah, looks real good. Alright, I think we'll shut her down and we'll get the cars out of the way in the driveway and we'll take it out for a road test. we're just going to let it warm up for about 10 minutes just to make sure it's not going to burp anything out. It shouldn't be. And then we'll take it for a road test. It's already sucked a little down. We'll top that off. All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Let's check the gauge. Yeah, I'd say getting pretty close. This is so much quieter without a noisy water pump bearing. Sounds good. One thing I noticed is it does turn over a little slow when we started. Real quick. So the only hiccup we had is we got one hose that's leaking. It's this, I think it's this lower one down here that's got the kink in it. We're just going to go in and tighten on it, and I think we're good. Yep, that hose is leaking. No worries. All right, so I had to reposition the clamp for the hose so we could get to it. So we fixed the leak, and then we went to restart the car, and we almost melted the ground cable for the harness because I guess I had forgot to reattach the ground strap to the side of the rocker cover. Austin's down there now reattaching that, and just for safety's sake I got it off of the negative post on this side because we just don't want the car to accidentally do something while it's on jack stands. So we'll get that reattached and we should be good to go. I think that's why the car was turning over slow, because it was using the harness ground. Okay, I think we got it. It's only two hiccups. We forgot to attach the negative ground, and we had a loose hose. So if that's all that happened, I think we're doing really good.
Why is it so tight all of a sudden?
Probably because I tightened it. Moses. Ooh, she's a low rider. Okay, get cleaned up, and I think now we can drive it.
Ready?
Hey, just panning in real quick. You can see where we just started to melt that ground wire. No real harm done. Oh, wait a minute. I screwed up again. We do have to connect the negative cable and tighten it. I'm still tired from yesterday. Good grief. I'll go grab the wrench.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this again. Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we gotta go through the whole rigmarole learning the computer again. That's nice. Alright, we don't have any water leaking out, so that's good. Alright. If those are the only hiccups we had, I think we're doing pretty good. Do a quick walk around. Sure. Okay. Hey, just for y'all that don't watch us a lot, this is a 1989 Ford Mustang LX. It's wearing its original Oxford white paint, and Austin is the third generation owner. So my father bought it new and drove it for close to 15 years. I drove it about 10, and I gave it to Austin about 5 or 6 years ago for his 16th birthday. Or no, was it 15th? 15th or 16th, I don't remember. Original pinstripes still intact. They painted them on back then. It's not a sticker. And he's put on repro style Cobra wheels, but they're 4-luggers, which is kind of cool. Gives a little extra character. I think the black goes really nicely with the black trim on the white body. I think it looks striking. We did a lowering kit on it. Was that last year?
Was that November?
November, yeah. It's got were they iBox?
Yeah, sport line.
iBox sport lines front and rear. Sounds like the engine's settling down. That's nice. All right, I know I still got to go in and clean this up, but everything I said would work is working in there, so that's good. Just wasn't smart enough to hook up the negative cable afterwards. Oh well. So everything looks good. I don't think we got any leaks now. Just going down there, looking in there again. That looks good. It's that lower hose on top of the water pump that's leaking. Get one of the heater hoses. Looks good. We're just going to let it idle for a few more minutes, get it warm, and then we're going to take it out and drive it. Let's just check the temp. It's probably already warm. Yeah, it's getting back up to temp again. It cooled off a little bit. If it was going to have a leak, it'd be doing it now. I think we just take it out and drive it, I guess. The hardest part about driving this car is getting it out of this steep driveway now that it's lowered, because it drags its chin spoiler. So if you don't bounce it at all, it like misses by like a 32nd of an inch. Okay, so in spite of us working on it, it is still running. That's a good thing. We're rolling. So unless we're leaving a trail from the driveway, I think everything's going really good. I love this little stretch of road here. Beautiful. It really is beautiful through here. There's definitely parts of North Alabama that shine. Just depends on what time of the year. I don't think we're too far up the road from where I almost stuck the duster last winter, right? Where the road iced over?
Yeah.
Was that? I think I was on Pepper, wasn't it? No, it was Nick Davis. That's the next road over, right?
Yeah.
It was the 55-mile-an-hour road. Yeah, up by the prison. That was awful. What kind of shifter did you put in it?
Steeda.
Tell you what, from where I'm sitting on the passenger side, it feels like an automatic. This thing shifts so smooth. What a difference over the stock shifter. The stock shifter was so worn out, I guess the little plastic ball it rides on, you would almost always miss third gear if you were going up for the gears.
Centering spring on this one.
Yeah, and that one's got a centering spring, which is really cool. Kind of a hearse throwback, right? A la 69 Mustang. Feels great. Feels so torquey. Talk about a small town. There's the every town has a village pizza, right? There's that one. This is, I guess, East Limestone. We're not really in Athens. There's East Limestone. Nice. Parts of it were built in the 40s or 30s or something. Some of it was added on in the 50s. It's old.
clean Al's appliances. That's nice.
Sure.
Another shot of the past high school.
One thing about North Alabama during growing season, you can always see something growing. Always corn, soy, cotton. Probably missing one. Those are the three most popular ones they do. Wheat, that's another one. Yeah, they grow wheat up here. It's running good. Tell you what, we get back. Temp's hardly creeping up. That looks good.
That's about where it sits with this radiator.
Yep, it looks like she's charging good. I guess the other thing we can do too is we can give it the acid test, put the headlights on, maybe put the blower switch on, see how the alternator does. Doesn't phase it a bit. That's good. Giving it the lug test. We're about 1,000 RPMs in third gear, and yeah, it's not kicking or bucking. Seems to take it pretty good. Cool. Pulls that pretty good. Sweet. We're getting ready to check the timing and just giving it the acid test. We got the fans on high. He's got the headlights on.
My brights on.
Brights on.
Hit the brakes too.
Hit the brakes. And it doesn't pull that voltmeter down into the negative at all. This alternator pulls some serious amps. Just checking under the hood real quick. It's hot. We've driven it. I don't see anything dripping anywhere that should be. I would say I'd sneak a peek underneath, but she sits so low I don't think we can see down there very easily. Maybe. See a piece of tape hanging down off the wiring harness when they do. Looks dry to me. Cool. I think I'm looking at the red paint right there, lining up with the mark. I don't remember where our red paint was. Was that 14? I think it was. So, if I remember we retarded the timing a little bit when we were playing with it before. I think the timing is actually advanced a few degrees for putting the new chain on. Am I not see the mark behind it's a white one. The one in front of it I think is the dark one. Isn't like a dark red just in front of the white one that's just behind the timing mark? Yeah, I think that's 14 degrees.
Hey, just one more thing. We're going to replace our crispy broken seatbelt guides and covers. Austin's got a full set, both for the outers and then the inners, which have broken off many years ago. Let's see what you got. Oh yeah, this looks like exactly the same color. Smoke gray. All right, we're running out of daylight. I think we're going to try to take this up to Johnny Grills this evening for the car show. Austin's giving it a bath. I think he's already got the seatbelts in. And it looks like he washed almost all of our greasy paw prints off the bumper. It looks like we hardly left any scratches. That's nice. It's like a couple of the skid marks from the wrenches. Those will wipe right off. Oh yeah. Let's take a look at the belts real quick. Oh yeah, look at that. You got all of those in. That looks nice. Now those things stand up like they're supposed to again. Real nice. So obviously the little trick with the socket worked out. I'll tell you what, it is really tight in there. Unbelievable. So, cool. 2 floor mats. All right, this thing's got a new lease on life. It's the only thing we have to do next is fix the air conditioner. So yeah, we got ballsy. This car hasn't been together for 50 miles. I guess you can only see the edge of it around that Volkswagen. See it sticking out right there. So what are we, like 16 miles from home? It's a long ways to push the car if it doesn't start. Why not? Sure, right? Okay.